May the 4th always reminds me of Star Wars, and although I have never been a die-hard fan, I have found myself surrounded by George Lucas supporters, so I've had no choice but to learn to enjoy them. I found myself wondering, after seeing so many of the essential characters die, what happens to their stuff? Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the movies and intend to see them, this video is not for you. As a lover of the law, I of course watch every video with an eye for what happens when someone dies, and there are a few movies that can successfully manage killing off so many main characters like Star Wars has, so I present to you Darth Vader's estate plan, or lack thereof. So there's a little boy named Anakin, who later becomes the bad guy we all know and love, Darth Vader. He has a mom named Shmi, and probably no dad, something about midichlorians. Anakin grows up and marries beautiful Queen Padme Amidala, and together they give birth to Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa, a set of twins. Leia grows up to be a badass and marries Han Solo, and together they have Ben Solo, who has serious daddy issues. So this is the part where I provide even more spoiler alerts, and without giving too many details away, this is who dies and in what order. So first, Shmi dies after being taken hostage. Then Padme dies during childbirth. Darth Vader passes away after a fierce battle against the Emperor. This is post when he realizes he's #1 dad and saves his son Luke. Then Han Solo dies at the hands of his son. Remind me to get into that Slayer statue later. Luke dies of old age, I think, something about becoming one with the Force. After this, Leia sacrifices herself for her son Ben, who ends up finally becoming a good guy and sacrifices himself for Rey, who's not even part of the family. So the pressing question is, who gets the Millennium Falcon? The last owner of the Millennium Falcon was Han Solo. For purposes of this educational moment, assume he lived in Florida. He was married and had one son, and that son was of the marriage. So Florida statutes state that Leia, his wife, would get 100% of the assets. Assuming just for a moment that Ben was not Leia's son, he would have, under Florida law, been entitled to one half of his father's estate, and Leia would have been entitled to the other half. However, because he intentionally killed his father, Ben is not eligible to receive any assets under Florida's Slayer statute, so the assets would then pass to Leia. She ends up owning the Millennium Falcon anyway. What happens when Leia passes? Well, she is now a widow and has one son, so for about an hour, until he dies of course, the assets pass to Ben. But then Ben dies, so we have to travel up the family tree, and as you can see, there are no known relatives. And yes, I understand that Shmi married and I left that out, but relation by marriage in this scenario does not affect the outcome. The ultimate beneficiary of the Millennium Falcon and any assets owned by all of the characters you see here will go to the Galactic Republic, the state of Florida, i.e. it will escheat to the state. So how do we prevent the government from inheriting our assets? Create an estate plan. Ben could have easily created a last will and testament, leaving everything to the love of his life, Rey, despite their love-hate relationship, and the government would receive none of it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and may the Force be with you. If you want to learn more, check us out online at probatelaw miami.com or give us a call.